Okay, so I'm gonna do the video tonight. I just don't know where this stuff's coming from. Guess it's coming from the Holy Ghost, the Lord. Let's talk about baggage, because we all have baggage. Okay, and I'm not talking about the stuff you pack to go on a trip. Like, oh, I need this suitcase filled, and then you got baggage. Okay, I'm not talking about that kind of baggage. Okay, I'm talking about baggage that we carry along with ourselves. In ourselves. It's weights. It could be anger. It could be stress. It could be whatever the case is with baggage. Me personally, I have a lot of baggage. Okay, and I'm not probably the person to be telling you this, but with that baggage, we probably need to set it, give it to the Lord, lead at His feet, and then we're down, and all that this lifts up. That just gets to get away, it's out of our hands. And the baggage, gets thrown away. But here's the thing: some of us really don't want to give up that, because hey, that could be something that we're holding on to. That this, hey, I'm going to hold on to this, but we're not supposed to. Especially, let's think about the baggage you have with you every day. Okay, with me personally, okay, number one, and this is probably going to be the same case for everybody, we have a cell phone with us every day. It's in your pocket, it's on your hip, it's it's in your purse, wherever you put it. But you have your cell phone with you. Then you got your keys, your car keys. Then you got, your work keys, if you have keys at work that you need to get into the office or wherever you have keys for that. Then you got your wallet, your ID. And then let's say then you pack a lunch and you got that to deal with on top of everything else. So all that stuff weighs us down. You know, and men are different than women, okay? And women have these big old huge purses. I mean, I don't know what they keep in them purses. Honestly, I really don't know. I mean, my mom, she has a purse, and it's huge. Okay, I remember growing up that she had everything in there. She had everything in there, including kitchen sink. Sometimes I felt like sometimes, she always had Kleenexes, gum, Band-Aid, Q-tips. I don't even know what else she had in there. It just seems like women have big purses. They carry everything around with them. And then you get to, okay, let's have, you got a baby. Well, then you got the baby bag, and you got to take care of that. That's more baggage. Okay. And then when two people get married, okay, they both have baggage to bring to the marriage. Okay. And sometimes, it's hard to know what to do with that. I mean, because it's like, on one hand, you want to take that burden off your spouse, but then you'll be dealing with stuff that is really not you don't know how to deal with it. And that's when it comes to, what do I do with this stuff? How do I get rid of it? How do I give it to God? For instance, let's say you've been angry for a very long time about something that happened years ago. Years ago. What you got to do, you got to, it's hard to let go of stuff. You just got to let go of it. And it's easy for me to say here and say that, but it's harder to do it. Trust me, I hold on to stuff for years. And like I said, I'm not the best person to tell you what to do with your life. But what, the one thing that you need really to do, and I've learned this, is let it go. You got to give it to the Lord. You got to lay it at His feet. We were never met to carry all these burdens, all this baggage. There's baggage that people carry around for years, and they could be upset at somebody for something they thought they did. In reality, they didn't do it, but they held on to it thinking they did, because they didn't have a forgiving heart. They didn't want to let it go. They held on to it. They were like driving a car in reverse. Okay, they were holding on to that tight. And some of the stuff that I'm saying, like driving the car in reverse, how fast can you really drive a car in reverse? It's not that fast. It's a proven fact that you can't drive a car very fast and driving it in reverse. Drive a car fast going forward, but you can't drive a car in back and very fast driving backwards. So it's time. Sometimes we got to come to that spot where we just say, okay, Lord, take my burdens, take my baggage, just take it all. I'm giving it to you. I no longer want to deal with it. It sounds easy. But then on top of that, when sometimes it's that evil little thing, evil little voice in your head say, why would you want to give it up? You've been holding on to that. Let's hold on to it longer. That ain't the Lord speaking to you on that one. That's the devil. That's that little thing called pride. If you are prideful, you're going to hold on to it because you're going to listen to that voice in your head instead of letting yourself be free. For instance, when I got married, okay, and I got married in 2012, so I've been married a little over 8 years. It was I didn't know my wife, had probably mental health issues. I didn't know none of that. All I knew was she was hit by a car when she was 3 years old. I think or 4 years old. She was young, and she's lucky to be alive. I didn't know she had any problems of seizures or anything like that. Because, basically, it's not like we got married right overnight. We were together we started going out in February of 2011 and got married in June of 2012. So it was a pretty long time, But, but nonetheless, I didn't know she had issues like that. And she didn't know I had issues from my past that I hadn't dealt with. And that's just the way it is. We brought baggage into the marriage. Should we have done that? Probably not. We should have just dealt with it when we were able to deal with it. But unfortunately, sometimes that doesn't work out. You can't just deal with everything at once. And God doesn't want us to, be weighed down with all these burdens, all these, all this baggage. He wants us to be set free. The only way you can be set free is give it to Him. Give it to Him to take care of. When you give it to Him to take care of, then you're not weighed down so much. And we're all going to have stress. It's a part of life. Our daily life is stressful. You're going to have, stress at work, okay? You're going to have deadlines at work, and you're going to have, lots of, things that you have to get done at work. But then when you take that, you get stressed at work. Okay, well then, okay, when work is over, well, you got home. You get home. Let's say you get home, and then you get you got stress at home. Whether it be financial stress. You got a child that's sick. And needs to go to the doctor. Well, gets sick in the middle of the night. Well, all the doctors are closed in the middle of the night. And then let's say the child has a real high fever. Well, you're gonna have to take the child to the hospital then. That's a whole other ball of wax. That's a whole other bottle of wax there, because then you got more stress thinking, okay, gosh, I gotta get it up in the middle of the night, and I gotta take my child to the hospital. I gotta take him to the emergency room. And the way things are now, only one parent can go in there because of this COVID thing. Which one's it gonna be? Which parent is gonna be there for him? And which parent can't be there for, but they're going to be at the hospital, but they can't be in the room, and what are you going to do? You're going to have to take the child to the emergency room, especially if if the child's thrown up or got high fever. You can't let that stuff go. You're going to have to do something. That's just more baggage. You got to figure out what to do. But then that's when it's when you get to the lowest of lows. That's when you start looking up. And what I mean that is, Okay, that's when we start looking at when we're at rock bottom. I mean, rock bottom. And we can't even see the light of day. That's how far down you're going to be. Then you're going to start looking up, asking for God's help. But God's help was there all along. All you had to do was ask. All you had to do was get down and pray about it and give it to Him. What, in your child, if they're sick in the hospital, it's really time to pray then. It's really time to have that come to Jesus moment, and pray that your child is all right. My son, struggled with an illness, and to this day, the doctors have no idea what it was. Okay, he'd go about every 2 weeks, and he'd start throwing up. He had diarrhea real bad, and his temperature would spike at like 105, 106 degrees. And he was in the hospital for about every 2 weeks for like a year straight. They didn't know what was going on. It was going to the emergency in the middle of the night about every 2 weeks. And I was lucky enough, my mother-in-law would do it. And thank goodness she did. That was a lot of stress on me. And I wouldn't have made through without Jesus by my side. And I at the time probably wasn't in the best place, because not only that, okay, I was dealing with him being sick, and my wife not being home. And my wife is still not home, so I got that baggage, because my wife still suffers with mental illness. Okay. And mental illness, it's a disease just like any other disease. Okay. It can be dormant in people for years, and some people never even experience anything to have anything to do with it. Because if my wife, unfortunately, that's part of her family history. Her grandpa had mental illness, and he got real bad. Got schizophrenia. He got real bad. Where I guess he almost killed a grandmother, from what I understand, from what I was able to understand. Well, then my wife, after we had the children, first, like after we had our son, she got the bipolar depression real bad, and the fact is she didn't tell nobody. Then, no, it wasn't bipolar. It was the postpartum, my bad, postpartum depression, okay, which led to the bipolar depression, okay. They're kind of intertwined there, that was my bad. I made a mistake, so. But then, she didn't tell nobody, because she suffered in silence. Well, then she got pregnant with our daughter. And, when she was pregnant with I'll tell you a little history here. I guess I need to back down there. Okay, when she was pregnant with our son, she was real sick, and she, at one point, I can still remember this. We're at Liberty Hospital in Liberty, Missouri, and she had, an attack, where, they didn't know what was going on with her. And, and then she had a seizure. All of a sudden, she's had a seizure. She didn't know who she was, who I was, where she was for 3 days. Okay. And then luckily, they found out that she had an overactive thyroid. It was hyperthyroid, which is an overactive thyroid. So they had to put her on thyroid medicine to help that. And then after that, she was fine. But like I said, she got the postpartum depression, then it led to bipolar depression. And then she got pregnant with our daughter. And, she was fine, and then after she had her, they thought, hey, if you need help, and of course my wife refused. And, it got real bad after that, because, she started attacking me. She started, she had a seizure, was hitting her head on the floor. It got real bad. Okay. And, part of, and then she would attack me and yell at me, get in my face, and then of course it got to the point where it was out of control. I didn't know what to do about it because I had never dealt with that myself. Now, my grandpa on my dad's side, okay, which would be his dad, he got the Alzheimer's, and I was there for that. I really didn't experience much of it for that because he was in the nursing home, and we'd go see him. I was young, still young at the time. I really didn't know what was going on. I knew he wasn't right, in the mind, and that's about all I knew because like I said, I really didn't deal with that. But he passed away. He had on top of the Alzheimer's, he had cholesterol issues and heart attacks. He didn't eat exactly very healthy. And that's sometimes people do that. But back to my wife, it got real bad. Okay, it got really really bad. I mean, to the point where I just wanted to leave her. Okay, and I'm not lying. I mean, I wanted to leave her so bad because I was afraid of my safety, and I got two little babies at home. What am I going to come home to? Am I going to find her dead? Am I going to find one of my children dead? And the thing is, it went on for so long because I didn't want to, something happened, get the file for divorce, and she goes out and does something to her kids, or not only the kids but herself. I had to live with that fear. And, that right now she is getting help for her bipolar depression and her anxiety, because she still has both of them, and, she wants to come home in the worst way. But, right now she can't because, we can't even see her because of, this pandemic, COVID, this COVID thing going on. And I haven't seen my wife since March. But, the point that I'm making is, though, I never gave up on her. Okay, even though it was so bad. Yeah, we didn't sleep together. Okay, she didn't come in she didn't come into the bedroom. She slept on a couch. She slept on a pull-out couch. Okay, I had to sleep with the door locked. That's how scared I was of her. Okay, she kept on saying she would never do nothing to the kids. Well, how do I know it? How would I know that? Because if you're doing it to me, you're hurting me. What are you gonna do to the kids? So it got to the point where not only weren't we sleeping together, we really weren't talking to each other. Okay, and I had to have her mom come over and stay the night just to watch the kids, just make sure she didn't do nothing to the kids. That's how bad it was. And I never told anybody any of this because basically I didn't want them to think less of my wife. And I don't want anybody who sees this video to think less of my wife. Because honestly, when someone has a mental illness, there's not something that's not right. Okay? And basically, and I truly believe this, and you can doubt me, you can say that's not the way it is, you can question it, you can go look it up, and you can look on all the books you want to. But I believe it was Paul who said this in the Bible. The battle of the mind. The battle of the mind. It's a battle of the mind. The mind, okay, is a battlefield. Okay, it's a battlefield. You can either let God in, or you can let the devil in. Okay, because the mind controls all your thoughts. Okay, in what you see. With someone with mental illness, they're kind of wired crossway. They're wired differently than someone who doesn't. Anybody can get a mental illness. Anybody. Okay? Anybody can get a mental illness from anything. Post-traumatic stress syndrome. Okay, you see all these young men and women coming back. They have post-traumatic stress syndrome. Okay, because of something that happened to them and that was traumatic. If something happens to, it doesn't even have to be a soldier coming back from home who went over there and fought for our country, which everyone out there who has fought for our country, thank you very much for letting me have the freedom that I surely do love and enjoy. Okay? But the bottom line is, mental illness can happen anyway. It just doesn't happen to, it doesn't, happen to, you know, frail people. It doesn't happen. It can happen to the best, strongest minded person you ever can know. It can happen to someone who's a genius. They can still get a mental illness. And the thing is, I can get a mental illness. I could get, I could get anything. I could get the, oh gosh, see, here I go. I can't think of the name. But anyway, I can get a mental illness. Anybody can. I can get a disease. But the thing is, it's not for us to think less of someone who's battling a mental illness or a disease. It shouldn't be. People label people with mental illness like they're bad. And that's the real problem here. Is us as people, okay, have kind of, it's like the lepers in the Bible. We kind of don't want to have to deal with them, so we push them off. We try to hide them from society. But I got something to say. The battle of the mind is the hardest battle you'll ever face in your life. And the only way to win that battle of the mind is with help from Jesus. And that's the thing, is like, it's hard. Sometimes, when your brain's not right or your mind's not right, it's hard to ask for help from God, because you don't know. Sometimes you just don't know what you're doing, and it's hard to, and even if you do know what you're doing, and then it comes down to the pride. If you have something going on, and you don't want to ask for help, because then that, people will think, oh, you ask for help, you must be weak. You get over this by yourself. No, I really can't. You can't get over a mental illness by yourself. You have to have the Lord and with your help. And plus, sometimes, I have this, it's kind of a toss-up kind of thing, prescription drugs. Should you put somebody on medication that with a mental illness? The thing is, would it help them? Yes. Would it be beneficial? Yes. But then on the other hand is, and this is where it comes in, are they going to take it? Are they going to take the medication as prescribed when you give it to them? That's the problem. Because just like if anybody else, my wife is on medication. But she still is. But she takes it every day now because she realizes that she needs it. That's the thing, is most people with mental illness, they start taking their meds, and they start taking their meds, and then they get to feeling better. And then they stop taking their medication. Of course, when you stop taking medication, you may feel okay for a few days, but then you start getting real sick again because the withdrawal issues. And usually when someone's in that state of, with a mental illness, they think it's the medicine that makes them sick. As crazy as it may sound, they think it's the medication that makes them sick. But the medication is the one that makes them better. But they don't take the medication because they think it's making them sick. As crazy as it may sound. And what I was trying to think of earlier, because, it just finally came to me. That's how slow my mind's going. It's Alzheimer's. I may get Alzheimer's. I may forget everything that I ever knew and everybody I ever knew. Wouldn't that not be good? Okay, to lose all your memories, don't know who you are, don't know where you are, how you got there, why you're there, or whatever the case may be. I think that'd just be a horrible, lonely death. But that's I guess that's part of, baggage, because, you bring all that when you join two people in marriage, each of them has baggage. Each one of them. But that's the way it is. Everyone has a baggage, and we need to give it to the Lord. And then if we give it to the Lord, we'll be set free. And I've learned that I'm not going to be lied to you. I still hold on to stuff, and I know I shouldn't. But I'm learning to let go of it. But it's taken me years to learn how to let go of it. I know people say, "Oh, you need to let that go." Well, again, it's hard sometimes to let go. And, and people see me, they think, "Oh, he's got it made." It's the people. If we walked a mile in someone else's shoes, we would know what they go through on a daily basis. Put yourself in someone else's shoes for one. Just do it. Just see what they deal with every day. It will change your perspective. I've seen this picture floating around. It's a picture, and it's a very powerful picture. And all it is a pair of shoes. Someone has set them in the road, took them off, and left them. But somebody took a picture of it. And the woman whose shoes they were was walking barefoot. That's a powerful image, because that's saying, okay, you want to know what it's like to be me? You really want to know what it's like to be me? Here are my shoes. Walk a mile in them. Go ahead. Understand what it's be like to be me. Take a walk in my shoes. But until you walk in someone else's shoes, you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what's weighing on their mind, or what kind of baggage is weighing them down. So just remember that. Because you have no idea what someone else could be going through right now, especially right now. People have lost their jobs. They've lost their homes. They're living on the street for the first time, or at a shelter for the first time, asking for help. Sometimes people don't want to ask for help because they're too prideful. They're too proud. Like I said, it's the baggage that weighs us down. Every day people put on the baggage. They put their wallet in their pocket, their cell phone, their badge, for work badge, whatever it may be. You put that on every day, along with everything else you put on. But what you really need to do is take that baggage off, throw it away, give it to the Lord. Just throw it away. Get rid of that baggage. It's not doing anything for you. What's it doing for you? All it's doing is making you remember bad times, bad stuff that happens to you. It's making you mad. It's holding you down. It's weighing you down. Get rid of it. Throw it away. Give it to the Lord. Or another thing you can do, give it to the Lord and bury it forever. Don't dig it up, because once you bury it and give it to the Lord, you're never supposed to be able to bring it up again, because you gave it to the Lord. The Lord has dealt with it. But if you dig it up, that's only going to dig up all them anger and all that issues again that you got rid of, and then you got that baggage back onto you again, which you're going to have to get rid of again. Give it, your baggage, to the Lord. Give it to him. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter how small it is. Give it to him. Give all your baggage to him. He will wear it. We were never supposed to wear the baggage. He died on the cross for our sins. Okay? He did. And it wasn't just because of, of the people then. He died on the cross for everyone's sin. He took everyone's baggage with him when he died on that heavy cross, because he had to carry that cross on his back. He had to carry that thing. And I from what I know, that thing weighed a lot. It wasn't like, it was just like a 10-pound cross. No, that thing probably weighs several 100 pounds. And he carried it on his back. He had to carry that sucker on his back to Calvary. And he was up there. He carried all our sins, all our burdens on his back. And he will still do it today. All you got to do it, and he will do it today. He's done it. He did it yesterday. He'll do it today, and he'll do it tomorrow. Just give all your baggage and all your burdens to the Lord. Amen.